Hi guys, and welcome back to Eastern Healing. Today we are going to be talking about the Ayurvedic practice of cleansing, which is sometimes also called detoxing. And the reason that we are going to be looking at that this week is because once you understand cleansing and exactly what it is they are attempting to accomplish and why, you are like next level. You just are at a much higher level of understanding of Ayurvedic wellness practices in general and like the whole goal and point behind those, as well as their understanding of how imbalance comes into your body and affects you. So the second reason, so that's the first reason, is because it's pretty central. And the second reason is because cleansing is often, this practice is often misapplied and very poorly understood here in the West. Lots and lots of people will sell you green cleansing powder and talk about doing a cleanse and the master cleanse and this cleanse and that cleanse. And the way they're applied is very much not in keeping with the Ayurvedic practices that they're trying to emulate. It's just being improperly and incompletely translated to us here in the West. So I felt it was really important to take a look at that because it is so ingrained in our wellness industry. So the first thing I want to talk about is a translation issue. And in Sanskrit, they have a word that means to remove the excess. And they use this Sanskrit word when it comes to everything as simple as like brushing the plaque off your teeth. That plaque is like an excessive buildup that just sort of happens throughout your day. And they would use this Sanskrit word to remove the excess to describe brushing your teeth. They would also use this word when it comes to like cleaning your skin, cleaning your sinuses, physically cleaning your body. They use this word to remove the excess, right? Because this natural oil will build up. It's an excessive amount of oil, and dust and excessive mucus can build up in your sinuses. They applied this same word to if you were to go to a retreat, right? You're removing, or if you were to do a staycation where you don't go to work, you don't go to school, you don't go out to social events, you just stay in your home and you rest, and you are removing excessive activities from your life to remove the excess, right? That's this Sanskrit word that they have. They also have a word for the unhealthy buildup that you are removing, right? So whether that's plaque on your teeth, dust and stuff in your sinuses, excessive oil from your skin, excessive partying, excessive social obligations, excessive overwork, right? All of these things they would kind of categorize in the family and use the same word of, or a similar root word for an excessive buildup, right? And to Ayurvedic practices, removing that excessive buildup is central to your health, which makes sense if you observe, right? If you don't brush your teeth, you'll get cavities and your teeth will fall out and you'll get gingivitis, and, removing excessive buildup is very important to your health. And that makes sense, and if you just go with, always booked out 110% with work and school and social obligations and parties and this and that and obligations and projects and everything all the time, you'll mentally burn out and you won't be able to be mentally vital and healthy and feel rejuvenated. So so now we have two concepts. We have excessive buildup, physically or lifestyle wise or energy wise, and the removal of excess, removing that excessive buildup. So that excessive buildup, because it is seen as being not good for you, was translated into English as toxin, which in some ways makes sense because we talk about having toxic relationships, toxic work environment, that things that are bad for you and unhealthy are toxic. However, it becomes more problematic when we're talking about the physiology, because a physical toxin in the language of English, toxin and toxic already has a definition, and it is a specific one. A toxin is a poison, right? Like bee venom can kill you. It's a toxin. Snake venom can kill you. The neurotoxin that is in deadly nightshade, that's a toxic plant. It has a poison. It can kill you with a very small amount, right? And that there are other ways to be damaging to our tissues than poison, like caustic things, for example. Caustic things like bleach burn living tissue in a chemical way. So if you get a chemical burn from like a cleaning thing, that substance is caustic, right? So just like caustic has a specific meaning, toxin already has a specific meaning in English, and it's not the same as a normal metabolic byproduct, an excessive amount of which might be bad for you. Right? So when I hear the term detoxing, which is how, because excessive buildup got translated as toxin, so the removal of that excessive buildup is translated as detox, right? So it's a translation issue that causes harm, and it causes misunderstanding. The ways in which it causes misunderstanding are, I think, pretty clear because it implies things that it's not meant to. But the ways in which it causes harm is that you end up with a food purity culture where people, there are people, and granted, perhaps these are people who would have had mental issues or mental health issues otherwise, but you can have like food purity groups that they're so terrified of the toxins in the food that they are actually malnourishing themselves. And so it's a problem, So I just wanted to begin by saying that I'm going to try not to refer to things as a toxin or detoxing. As we go through this unit, I'm going to try to talk about an excessive buildup and cleansing. And those are the words that I'm going to use because I feel like they communicate the core concept from the original Sanskrit a little bit better. So let's talk about what we already kind of talked about. The first thing about why Ayurveda feels that cleansing is so important to your health, and that's that they feel that a physical buildup of these excessive byproducts of our body is bad for you, and that has been shown to be the case. There's no arguing with that. You want to brush your teeth, you want to have a clean body, you want to not have like parasites in your system and all kinds of stuff. So cleanliness is very central to Ayurvedic wellness, right? And thing number 2 is that remember that the energetic body and the physical body overlap one another in this system, so that things that are present in the energy body are having an actual physical effect in the physical body. So we've talked a little bit about the doshas, or about the koshas, the energy body, and the layers, right? And in your handouts and with some other videos, we've been introduced to the doshas, which are your constitutional type, so to speak. And everyone has a mixture of vata, pitta, and kapha, but the idea is you have a balance that is the most correct for your own system. And if one of those comes up outside of your own most optimal balance, then that's a problem. In Ayurveda, they only consider the elements to be prone to excess, not deficiency the way they would in traditional Chinese medicine. So, for example, the element of wind or air is said to have a property of dryness. So if you've got a person that has dry skin, they are said to have an excess of the wind element within them, right? So the solution is to counter or remove that wind element and cleanse away the excessive wind element that is causing the dryness. And you do this by applying like rich, nourishing oils to the skin and over your whole body. Let's say that again in another way. Clearing away an excessive buildup physically or energetically is seen as equally important to the health of your whole system. The elements in the Ayurvedic system have properties like heat, movement, dryness. And if you have an excessive amount of one of these properties, like you always run hot, or your skin, hair, and nails are very dry, or whatever, then they see that as that element has built up in your body and energetically needs to be removed and cleansed away or countered to bring you back into a better balance, right? So some of the things that you are doing in an Ayurvedic cleanse are meant to be energetic in nature. They're meant to address your dosha, your constitutional type, according to the 5 Ayurvedic elements, right? So the thing number 3 is that in a cleanse, you'll see a strong focus on digestion. And that's because unlike brushing your teeth, which you're supposed to do every day, cleansing your digestive system is much more involved, right? So making sure that you are eating food where the elemental composition of the food is in good alignment with your own dosha is important in Ayurveda. And that's because food should be healthy and nourishing, but also because the vital energy body should be kept in balance through the energy of our food as well as your physical body. And this all comes together where in the West, you can see that people grabbed onto the concept of cleansing your digestive system and that they grabbed onto certain hallmarks like using turmeric or cayenne pepper. You'll see that they grabbed onto the drinking of teas, herbal teas, as a part of these cleanses. And while it is true that in a cleanse they would be eating their cultural equivalent of oatmeal the whole time, and that is partially because it's the high fiber content is seen to like scrub out your guts as it goes through. All this other cultural context has really been lost. So if you were to do an Ayurvedic cleanse, it would have 3 parts: the preparation, the cleanse itself, and the post, like recovery period. So, and these should all be equal. So the shortest cleanse you can do is 3 days long. The longest cleanse that you typically see is 3 weeks long, but it needs to have those 3 points, and it needs to, and they should all be equal, right? So this is what would happen, culturally speaking. You would inform your workplace and your friends and your family that it was time for you to do your cleanse, and this is something that they would anticipate and recommend that people do about twice a year. And let's just pretend you're going to do a big old one. You're going to do a 3-week cleanse. So for those 3 weeks, it's pretty much expected you're not going to be going out to work. You're not going to be going to parties. You're going to start removing the excess from your life. In the first week, the preparation week, now remember this is from India. Think all of those rich curries and complex dishes, right? With a bunch of preparation time and simmering and herbs and everything. Just think good old rich yummy curry, Indian food, right? So if I'm going to do a cleanse, I'm going to take the first week and prepare. I'm going to, sit down and do some math about how much of that oatmeal do I need, this rice oatmeal stuff do I need. I'm going to go shopping for my cleanse. I'm going to, let everybody know, hey, I'm going to be doing my cleanse. I'm not going to be around. And I'm going to get all of my ducks in a row. And preparation, even if you think you could do all that a little faster, it doesn't matter. The preparation phase is the same length as the actual doing it, right? And then a lot of times towards the end of the preparation, you would actually make all of your food in advance. So if I'm going to do a week of cleanse, when it gets to the last couple of days of my preparation, I'm going to make a week worth of oatmeal, right? Like 7 full days of oatmeal. Or if I'm doing like 3-day chunks, maybe it's 3 days of oatmeal, whatever. And while I'm in my preparation, I have started to cut back my general intake of extra rich, layered, fancy things, right? I've started to simplify. Then the cleanse period begins. And during that cleanse period, again, I really am not going to be leaving the house. Some people might choose to go and do this in an actual ashram. So perhaps they have a family home where many generations live or whatever, and it wouldn't be possible. So they're actually going to go to a temple, an ashram, and live there for a week, and maybe bring their oatmeal or whatever with them, or maybe they'd have it there, whatever, it just depends. And so when you are doing your cleanse, you wake up very early in the morning. The ideal time is I think like an hour or two before sunrise. And you thoroughly clean your entire body. And this would involve scraping stuff off your tongue, brushing your teeth very thoroughly, cleaning out your sinuses with a neti pot, and then thoroughly rubbing a rich oil full of herbs that are specifically formulated to you and your dosha and your imbalances that have been detected during and identified during your preparation phase, right? You would thoroughly rub that rich oil all over your whole body and let it sit to lift the extra oil and dust and junk up off of your skin. And then you would remove that oil potentially in a combination of scraping it off and then washing it off with water. After the majority has been scraped. Then you would eat your oatmeal and you would spend your day doing things like meditative restoring yoga, because Ayurveda is where yoga comes from, or reading the Vedic texts like the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita, and the cultural ancient texts that have to do with Ayurveda and their spiritualism and their culture, right? So you're reading these and you're meditating on them, and you are very quiet, and maybe you take a nap, and then you wake up and you eat your oatmeal, you do your yoga and you meditate and you read the Vedic texts, and this is really that's all you're doing. You're simplifying your life. You're taking away all of the excessive things in your life. You are only eating oatmeal. You are only, and again, it's their cultural version of oatmeal. It's not oatmeal, but you are thoroughly cleaning your entire body every day, and waking up super early in the morning to do that. And with what you're eating, you're simplifying what you eat, that stuff is said to be like over the duration of the cleanse, like scrubbing out your digestive system physically. And you also are not spending all this time in food preparation, which is necessary in order to have cultural Indian dishes as part of your daily life every day, right? During this time, you might also be getting Ayurvedic massage. You might also be getting other Ayurvedic treatments, like there's this thing where they like build up this like clay-esque stuff around your marma points and fill it with oil, so the oil is just like soaking into that marma point. And so this whole, like, and you do this for a whole week. And then you have your kind of reintegration period. And that's going to be, again, the exact same length as your prep period and your doing the cleanse period. And during that reintegration period, you slowly come back to a normal daily life, and you get to decide which things you pick back up again and which things you leave in the past. And so doing this cleanse, like a deep cleanse of your life twice a year, is seen as very good for your health. And I think it's easy to see why. Sometimes being able to get away and find stillness and introspection, focus on your own self-care, and then decide what is or is not a good choice to bring back into your life when you return, is an excellent practice for your own wellness and well-being. And now, compare that to these people who are working 80 hours a week, doing a master cleanse, drinking cayenne pepper tea for 21 days, and like phasing out all of food while still maintaining their crazy Western life. It's not the same thing. Being an exercise nut and drinking green goo for a week, in addition to your normal life and your normal food and your normal exercise routine and your normal go, go, go world, is not the same as doing an Ayurvedic cleanse. So I will link in our class a very traditional description of a very traditional description of cleansing, daily cleansing, because I think it might be helpful to see the traditional tongue scraper and the neti pot and stuff like that, and hear about it in a specific way. You will notice in that video that I'm going to link, she does call things toxins, and again, that's how it's often translated. But I urge you to hear excessive buildup when they say toxins in relation to this topic. Other than that, I'll also link some, you'll also have some videos hyperlinked to, in your course shell, to Ayurvedic massage and kind of what's going on there. I'm not an Ayurvedic massage practitioner, so I can't really speak to that subject, but links there will be. And I hope that that was a fun little insightful tirade that I have gone on for you in terms of Ayurvedic cleansing. And let us never spend our money on shakes and powders whilst maintaining our hectic Western life. That is all. I will see you guys next time, and I hope you have a good week. I look forward to your comments in the discussion. Bye.